The new core set is here, and oh my dear God, what did they do to Druid?
Nature.
We're just gonna jump right into it because we have a ton of new cards to talk about, to the point where I am gonna have to make myself a little bit bigger, but I'm gonna try my best to not block out any of these cards. But just look at this gigantic document of all of these cards that are leaving and being added into the core set. Maybe you got a glimpse of some of your favorite cards, but I'm going to go through class by class and kind of analyze what is really going away from classes, what is being added, and what do we have to look forward to? Because if you look really closely already, you might see a couple of changes that are already completely different. Case in point, Soul Stealer is now a 2-rune blood card instead of a 3-rune blood card. So that just means that this card has a lot more viability and more decks that just aren't triple Blood Knight. We also have the changes of Marrow Manipulator being a 2 Frost card now. We still have Frostworm Fury in the deck. Frostmourne is now a 6 mana for 3. Like, there are a lot of changes that are happening here. Acolyte of Death, Asphyxiate, Nerubian Swarmguard are all cards that used to have runes that no longer have any rune requirements. So we have a lot of things that are changing within Death Knight itself, and this is just scraping the surface of what exactly is going on with this new changes to the core set. But Marrogar is out of here. Possessifier is out of here. Corrupted Ashbringer, Patchwork, they are gone. Rip bozos. You guys are not seeing play ever again. There is a lot of changes that are happening to Death Knight, but some of the core cards that you're not seeing here, like for example, Grave Strength. Grave Strength is a basic card, not a core card, so I did misspeak earlier, but all the basic cards are still staying in the game. So if there's something that's like a basic card like Grave Strength that you're not seeing, it is staying in the game. So Unholy DK looks like it's in a very weird position going here on out, because it does still have some of its core cards, but losing Marrogar is such a big deal to where it's like Unholy is going to need some kind of like ridiculously good late game cards in order to push it towards like this archetype that isn't just aggressive, or who knows, maybe Plague Unholy is just the way to go for the future. So losing Marrogar is absolutely huge. Losing Obliterate's kind of a big deal, but the rest of these cards aren't really that, well missed, except for like maybe Corrupted Ashbringer being in the Runes of Darkness, being able to find that, as well as Patchwork. So Blood DK feels like it's getting the worst, offense out of all of this, while also the most benefits out of it, because again, like Soul Stealer is now a 2-rune blood card. So those are the Death Knight cards. What about the rest of the format? We've got Demon Hunter. I don't really know if anyone's going to miss Flame Wreath, a Flame Reaper, or Wrathscale Naga, except for, like, random rogue players that discover this card randomly from, like, concoctions or something. And concoctions are also going away. There's so many things that are leaving Hearthstone right now. Like, we could make our own video talking about everything that's leaving from Castle Nathria, Voyage to the Sunken City, as well as March of the Lich King. But moving on to the cards that are coming to Demon Hunter, we have Expendable Performers. Wayward Stage is staying around, so Naga Demon Hunter's probably not going anywhere, as well as Umberwing as another really good early game tool for Demon Hunters just to take over the board. But a lot of 1/1s that are being given. There might be something cool with Expendable Performers, but this card really was not that good without the aid of the Kurtrus Hero Power. So I really don't know if Expendable Performers is going to be like an insane card like it was back in the day, but Wayward Sage sticking around the core set is a huge deal. And Umberwing, actually, if I remember correctly, I believe this card was nerfed at one point. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I have my my data confused. But Umberwing was like a legitimate, extremely good card for aggressive Demon Hunter decks back in the day. So who knows? Maybe we'll see like a token Demon Hunter rise up from the ashes. But let's talk about these Druid changes. Like, what? Nourish, gone. Wild Growth, gone. Lunar Eclipse and Solar Eclipse, gone. Soul the Forest, gone. So this is not only hitting Ramp Druid, but we're hitting Token Druid, to where the best card in Token Druid in the past has been Soul the Forest, and now they're not going to have that tool anymore. So like, Druid's going to be really struggling to find a class identity without literally its best cards in the format. Now granted, it is getting some pretty good cards like Swipe. As an OG Druid player, this makes me happy. 3 mana swipe. This is literally a Malagos wet dream, to where if we do have Malagos, and I don't think we do, which is kind of sad, but if Druid does have ways of getting spell damage potential, who knows what swipe could do. We don't have Moonfire, so that is kind of sad, but I believe we have Moonbeam. Is Moonbeam rotating out? I actually can't remember. But Oaken Summons, another great card. Thick Hide Kodo in order to go with the Oaken Summons already seems like pretty good synergies there. Spellstones are also making a comeback, so if you guys remember Spellstones from the Catacombs expansion, then a lot of the Spellstones are coming back, if not all of them, actually. Yeah, Demon Hunter doesn't have a Spellstone. Death Knight doesn't have a Spellstone. Maybe they're going to add one for those 2 classes. That'd be very interesting if they go around that direction. But Greybow, Park Panther are some pretty good, you know, mid-range tools, where I actually did get one of my best ranks ever with, like, an aggressive taunt Druid that did run Greybow on Park Panther, so I'm kind of happy to see these cards. But Nourish and Wild Growth and Soul of the Forest going away are big hits to Druid. And yet another one right in the feels. King Crush is gone. Why do we even want to play Hunter now? Like, I feel like with King Crush going away and with Kill Command coming in, we're just gonna be playing nothing but aggressive Hunter decks, where, like, Spellstone, for example, we might see a resurgence of Spell Hunter, because the Spell Hunter was legitimately one of the best decks in the format back when you had access to the Hunter Hero card, Deathstalker Rexar, as well. So it's just like there's a lot of potential for Hunter to maybe go in a more mid-range aggressive position, but Selective Breeder, King Crush going away, those are big hits to any Hunter deck that wants to go into the late game. So it's like, how is Hunter going to win late game now? It just feels like they're going to be all in on early aggression, and I am not really looking forward to that. We've also got Rat Trap and Ice Trap coming back, so if you hate secrets, these are some pretty annoying secrets to have to play around. So Rat Trap being able to summon a 6/6 out of nowhere, I do not miss that, and it's going to be a thing again. But Master's Call, another good card. Ball Spiders, which, fun fact, used to cost 6 mana, if I remember correctly, for pretty much the exact same ability. It's good to see that coming to Hunter, so maybe we have some fun ways of generating random minions. But overall, King Crush going away, Kill Command coming in, I'm not excited to play against Hunter. Mage is losing Pyroblast. What's the point of Yogg-Saron anymore? What is the point of playing Prison of Yogg, pointing face, and hoping that Pyroblast just ends it? If anything, like, the random cards, like Prison of Yogg-Saron, like Yogg-Saron himself, are weeping at the loss of Pyroblast. But Ashwin is going away as well. This card really didn't see all too much play. It was still really good, but it's been in the format for a while. Fire Sale and Snap Freeze are also gone, and instead we have Kalagos, Flame Strike, the original OG, is back in the game. Same with Frostbolt, and we also have Primordial Glyph. So we still have lots of ways of being able to generate randomness within Mage, but 8 mana Kalagos, I believe, is particularly going to go extremely hard, because there might be ways of being able to discover this card plenty of times, and who knows, maybe there's like another big spell mage that can see play, and maybe, who knows, maybe Mana Storm can fit in a deck like this. Probably some dis-synergy there, but there's the potential still. Paladin is in a little bit of a weirder position, to where, like, they're getting rid of the cards that low-key didn't really see any play. They're not really getting rid of, like, the well-known Paladin cards, which honestly I can't even, like, think of any right off the top of my head right now. But the Thraxian, Amber Watcher, True Champion, as well as Blessing of Kings, I don't think saw any play almost at all during this past year. But we got Lady Liadrin, Hammer of the Naru, which is insane tempo, Spike Ridge Steed, so we've got dinosaurs coming back to Paladin, and Silver Moon Portal are coming back into the game. Which of these cards is going to be the best? I think Spike Ridge Steed and maybe Liadrin, if there's, like, a reason to bring back your buffed cards. Like, we used to run this back in the day with Zero Mana Libram, so it's kind of hard to not think of Lady Liadrin in that light, pun intended. But unfortunately, there are not, I mean, I guess I should say, fortunately, there are not that many Zero Mana cards you're going to get back from Lady Liadrin, because Gardens of Grace is actually rotating out. So I don't think we have to worry about, like, double Gardens Grace into Liadrin, double Gardens Grace into Wind Fury, thank the Lord. But Tempo Paladin with, like, Hammer of the Naru could actually be very good going into the future. So Paladin is probably just going to stick to its typical aggro roots, but we're getting some very decent, you know, stall and late mid-game tools that I believe will kind of push Paladin in a little bit of a different direction. Priest! Who cares about Priest? Moving on. I'm kidding. Priest is going through some major changes as well. Shadow Word Death is out and Shadow Word Pain is in. So instead of priests making me feel like they have to kill everything, instead they can just inflict pain onto everything, which is pretty much, you know, typical priest gameplay. But Benedictus, Draconic Operative, and Shadowed Spirit are out. All the aggressive tools. Shar the Naru, Rick Bozo, get that out of here. I don't have to worry about a 1-mana Mass Dispel ruining my games anymore. Now I have to worry about Obsidian Statue with Lesser Diamond Spellstone to bring back minions again. Void Shard, not really sure why they're putting this in instead of like a decent aggressive tool. I don't know. I might be being a little bit too harsh, but I don't know why Void Shard is going out when we're getting rid of Benedictus, you know? Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Madame Lazul, pretty decent card. It's not exactly disruption, but it does give you like a look into the future of what your opponent could do. But I really do believe the big hitters here are going to be the Obsidian Statue and the Lesser Spellstone. I doubt we're going to have anything like Bran, or like Barnes, I should say, where like Barnes pulls out the minion and then sets up the Spellstone perfectly. I don't think we're gonna have anything like that, so maybe Big Priest is not going to be like the most insane thing in the world, but it's still concerning to look at these cards because that's the first thing I think of, and it does scare me because if you don't remember Big Priest, I envy you. But let's go ahead and move on to Rogue. Rogue, we have Shadow Jeweler, Hanara, and Secrets rotating out. Goodbye, Rogue Secrets. Now we just have Mage and Hunter Secrets. Paladin still doesn't play Secrets. We don't have 3 classes with Secrets. I wonder what happens to Sketchy and Stranger, whatever the card is that discovers a secret. Regardless, those cards are going away. Buccaneer is also going away, but what is taking its place? Some pretty fun cards for Rogue, in all honesty. Flick, an amazing way of being able to remove big minions or being able to get rid of like Dragon Golems, for example. If you want to be able to get rid of like one problematic card and just nuke it from the game, Flick is your guy. We've also got Fladori Strider, which is probably historically one of my favorite rogue cards, and this technically does shut down Highlander cards as well. So maybe there's going to be like a gimmicky rogue deck that just tries to play as many of these as possible to lock out the Highlander decks. We have Spectral Cutlass making a comeback. Lifesteal, whenever you play a card from another class, gain +1 durability. We got Raiding Party as well as Sap, so you can draw the weapons, you can draw the pirates. I'm assuming aggro Pirate Rogue is going to be the way, but let me just go ahead and say that I'm very sad to not see Shadow Step on leaving the core set. That's a joke. I just wanted to make a joke. Shadow Step is probably the glue that keeps Rogue together right now, so if you get rid of Shadow Step, I really do believe that Rogue becomes unplayable, but some people want Rogue to be unplayable, and that's why people are calling for Shadow Step to be taken away. But overall, Sap coming back, huge, actually, in my opinion. This was like one of the cards that made me originally hate Rogue back in the day, because if I were to spend, you know, my 5-mana turn on summoning a 5-drop for 2 mana, you could literally skip my last turn if that minion had no immediate impact. So Sap coming back is a very big deal that I don't think anybody should sleep on. But if the rest of the Rogue archetype doesn't exactly, you know, support Sap, then this card's not going to carry the class by any means, but it's still going to be a very annoying card for aggressive rogues to have access to completely deny taunt minions. Moving on to Shaman. Shaman's kind of sad right now, in all honesty. But we got the Wrath of Air Totem. We got our spell damage back. But we've got the spell damage totem in addition to the Spirit Claws. So Spirit Claws actually has some maybe potential of being good again. If you guys don't remember Spirit Claws back in the day, I'm pretty sure this card got nerfed one way or another. I think it was nerfed from 1 mana to 2 mana because it really was a powerhouse card back in the day when I believe it was aggro kind of pirate, but not exactly pirate shaman, where we would run spell damage, pirates for early aggressive, really aggressive boards, as well as like jades for burst and whatnot. But we've also got Kalamos, one of the historically best elementals for shaman, and elemental shaman's kind of dead right now in every single regard. So I think that this actually does a good job at maybe giving this deck a little bit more validity. But if you want my honest opinion, I think they should just change Scar in general. Scar having the prerequisite of having to chain your elementals every single turn in order for it to be good, I think it's just a bit too much. But Kalamos might make this a little bit better for Shaman. But dude, Doomhammer, Bloodlust, Grand Totem Eyesore going away for Shaman. Totem Shaman just got gimped completely, not only with losing the totem, but also losing the Bloodlust. Doomhammer going away. So now you just have Horn of the Windlord if you want to be a Shaman player. And let's be honest, that's a Paladin card. That's not a Shaman card. The only thing that makes it Shaman is Wind Fury, but Paladin has more Wind Fury than Shaman does now. So what is even the point? Zap. I'm going to be kind of sad about seeing this card go away. This was very clutch for me when I was playing Nature Shaman. But overall, really wasn't a card that you saw actual play in your deck. It was something that you would usually discover. So Shaman feels a little bit okay, I guess, because you still have Muck Pools for Evolve Shaman. You still have the Air Elemental, which Elusive, by the way, is just can't be targeted by spells and hero powers. They just made this into a keyword if you guys didn't notice. But Shaman is going to really be happy about Spell Damage Totem, and who knows, maybe Spirit Claws see some meta-relevant play. We're starting to get to the end of the list, but the hype has not run out. Mal'Ganis is gone, but Arch-Villain Rafaam is in. Doomguard is back. Lesser Amethyst Spellstone is back, which is an amazing good card for Warlock for not only healing, but having some decent removal, as well as having synergies for using your life tap. Very good card. Bloodbound Imp, man, I could take it or leave it. I honestly would rather leave it. Demonic Studies, very good card. Dark Alley Pact, not exactly the most insane card, but might have some potential in decks like Handlock, and we'll get to Handlock here in a second. You guys have seen my tweets. You already know what I'm excited about. But Mal'Ganis, Abyssal Enforcer, Lakari Fellhound, Void Caller, Imp Game Boss, and Fiendish Circle are gone. Really, none of these cards saw play. It's very sad to say that Void Caller didn't really get to see any play in Standard because demons just aren't a good archetype unless they are bonkers broken. Like Q-Block back in the day, with like Gul'dan bringing back Doomguards. So I'm kind of interested to see this direction that they're going where Doomguard is coming back. But dude, Arch-Villain Rafaam, if you guys watched the 2019 World Championship Hearthstone tournament, then you know why this card is hilarious and can potentially make one of the most historical games ever happen. So I'm really excited to see Rafaam. You should be excited to see Rafaam, but your opponent as Warrior is not going to be happy to see Rafaam because there's a lot of legendary minions they have to deal with, to where they can maybe take a Deathwing randomly. What if a Warlock gets Deathwing Mad Aspect? That's just an 8-mana 12/12. But yeah, Warrior is getting some very good cards as well. 2-mana Fiery War Axe. Like, can I interest you in a 2-mana War Axe? The community has been begging for this card in Standard, and now we have it back. So I really hope that they don't make this card 3-mana again. Otherwise, I am going to relive the worst PTSD of my life. But continuing on with the cards, Deathwing, Town Crier, Cargo Guard, Sanguine Depths, as well as Fiery War Axe. We have Rush Warrior as a deck again, because we have Town Crier. Who knows what Rush cards we really want to put into it, but it feels like everything has a Rush nowadays. Enraged Warrior is not going away because Sanguine Depths is staying as a location. I believe this is a fantastic card to keep for Warrior. It's not exactly, powerful by itself, but enables these insane synergies that really make Warrior feel like Warrior if you're not just playing control. Cargo Guard gives something to Pirate Warrior, technically. I don't really think it does all too much, but the cards that are rotating out, really, we don't care about. Like, Armigdalo didn't see any play when it got buffed. Dinomatic literally hasn't seen play this entire year. Sword Eater sees play in Twist. It's just a Twist card. It's not a Standard card. Cruel Taskmaster, even though it got buffed, also doesn't really see play. And same thing with the Woodcutter's Axe. Just doesn't matter. These cards were not the reason why Warrior was good. And honestly, Warrior's just happy to see them gone because we get cards like Deathwing back and 2-mana Fiery War Axe. Step aside, Woodcutter's Axe. You are no Fiery War Axe. And now we're going to get to the most beefy part of this update, to where I kind of have to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see everything here. But it's very important to read the text on these cards. Like Mind Control Tech. Mind Control Tech is coming back into the game, but it's got a brand new battle cry where it used to be if your opponent has 4 or more minions, you take one randomly. Now it is a 5-mana 3/3 bumped up from 3 mana. Battle cry if your opponent has 4 or more minions, take control of one. You can literally just choose the minion that you want. And back in the day, it was just 3 mana, do the exact same thing because MCT always knew the perfect card to steal. But yeah. Can I interest you in Mountain Giants? Can I interest you in Stonehill Defender? Justicar Trueheart? Sylvanas? Ysera? Alexstrasza? Like, these are all amazing cards that bring back Hearthstone memories. Like, I remember back in the day when I first opened Alexstrasza being like, Let's go. One of the best cards to get from this set. So I think that HELLSCREAM is going to bring back some very annoying combos. There's probably going to be like some OTKs very similar to Freeze Mage that set up 2-turn lethals. And if you don't have healing, you're just going to get screwed, mate. But let's look at all the cards that are rotating out. We got Ysera the Dreamer and HELLSCREAM Lifebinder rotating out, which means Malygos the Spellweaver, the card that draws all of your spells, I'm pretty sure is staying in, but that means that regular Malygos is not coming back, and I'm just going to use this one moment, the only moment where I'm going to do this. Boo! Why don't we get our Malygos back? I want my spell damage card, Blizzard. We didn't get any OTK cards in this freaking in this core set. No Mecha'thun, but Dr. Boom is going away. Karen Bloodhoof, Ziliax, Black Knight, Gadgetson. He was already dead to begin with. Azure Drake. Oh no, the pain is it's flowing through me again, dude. I don't want to lose Azure Drake again, but yet here we are. At least we were to play him for a little bit. Eater of Secrets, Humongous Razorleaf. Who really cares about that card? Rotten Applebomb, Chillwind Yeti. Oh man, it's a dark time. Grim Necromancer, Explosive Sheep, Emerald, Skytalon. That's a very weird word. Skytalon. What the fuck is a Skytalon? And then Tour Guide. Tour Guide being rotated out is actually really weird to see, because I'm pretty sure this card has actually been in playable standard since it's been released in Skullomance Academy. So, Tour Guide, it was nice seeing you, buddy, but you were always cut from my decks anyway. But now let's look into everything that they are adding. HELLSCREAM, Ysera, Tiamat, Sylvanas Windrunner. We have some actual new cards being added from the Warcraft Rumble universe, where we have Nomrella Safe Pilot, a 6-mana 4/2 rush Death Rattle minion. Also damages minions next to whomever this attacks. Death Rattle deal 2 damage to all enemies. That includes face. So if you've played Warcraft Rumble, you make a big explosion. And you nailed it. We got Leroy Jenkins coming back. Justicar True Heart. Molten Giant and Mountain Giant, my boys have returned, and I never got rid of my golden boys. Thank you, Blizzard. Thank you for this very generous gift. Mind Control deck coming back. We've got Footman, which is another Warcraft Rumble card. New card, 4-mana, 2/5 taunt. Adjacent minions are immune while attacking. This seems like a very spicy card from mid-range decks, but the big question is this card actually going to see enough value to where you're going to slot it in your deck to where it actually does get that value more times than not? Because you don't want this to just be a dead card, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is one of those cards that's very dependent on everything else being good around it. But you do have cards like Stonehill Defender in order to find a Footman randomly. So there might be some chances to where this card doesn't necessarily see play actually in the deck, but it's like an insanely good card off of Stonehill Defender. We never know. Vicious Slitherspear staying in Core Set. Naga Demon Hunter is just not going anyway, so you might as well get comfortable. Evasive Worm, showing off the new elusive keyword. Look at that, 3 keywords right off the bat. This is probably one of the best dragons in the set right now. Warsong Grunt, another Warcraft Rumble card. Rush, after this attacks and kills a minion, it may attack again. Oh, that's actually really freaking cool. Imagine giving this thing like immunity in Druid with Eterniate Maw. That is actually a 7-mana clear the board for Druid. Okay, that's actually really good. I am glad that they're nerfing Druid ramp, apparently. Night Elf Huntress, another Warcraft Rumble card. Battlecry, deal 3 damage to 3 different enemies. You pick the targets. So you could swing one to face if you wanted to. That's just, Night Elf, but a little bit different. But you have 3 damage that can go to the face and 2 minions or 3 minions if you really want to. But yeah, actually, it's really funny to say that Huntress is one of the most powerful minis in all of Warcraft Rumble. And for a 5-mana 3/3, dealing 9 damage essentially to the board, or even to like face to a degree, I think it might actually see some real play. And then we have the rest of the cards of the set. Wandmaker, Southsea Deckhand, Firefly, and Boulder Fist Ogre. When I see these 2 cards together, I instinctively think of Quest Rogue, but quests aren't coming back, and nor do I really think that they should. But yeah, there's a lot of cards here. Wandmaker was actually an insanely good card back in the day. Deckhand was just good with any deck that wanted to have weapons. If you want my honest opinion, this is probably going to be insanely scary in Paladin, where they have Wind Fury, and they have weapons, and they have ways of buffing this card. So an aggro, you know, Pirate Paladin is actually kind of scary when you think about it, because I don't think Crusader's Aura is going anywhere. So just another reason why Paladin's gonna rule the format, I guess. But guys, that is all of the cards. Oh my dear lord. But go ahead and tell me what you guys think is gonna be good, because I definitely want Handlock to be playable again now that I have my Giants. The last time that I tried playing Handlock was in a Twist format, and it was just not good whatsoever. So, you know, fingers crossed that that Handlock does find a way back into the front runners of the meta. And I really do believe that we're going to have some fun going into this next year. Not only did they get rid of some problematic cards like the Nourish cards, for example, that have been plaguing the format for, honestly, since the beginning of the game, the Hearthstone team really does feel like it is doing everything in its power in order to shake up the meta as much as physically possible. To where, again, Hunter doesn't have King Crush, Druid doesn't have Ramp, Rogue is losing secrets. We just have all of these different directions that classes are going, to where we really don't know how to predict this stuff. But if you guys have any predictions on what you believe the meta is going to evolve into, keep in mind we do need to see the new set before we make any like real predictions. But go ahead and tell me what cards you think are going to be good again, because I would love to have a conversation, and maybe there are some synergies that I am not considering. The only real synergy I thought about was the Warsong Grunt into Saul Goodman, the card that the Attorney at Maw. God, I am really tired. I've actually been awake for more than like 14 hours, so I think this is my time to go ahead and call it. So guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you have any ideas on what you think is going to be good from the core set, go ahead and let me know what your thoughts are down below, and we'll see you guys for the next video.